Welcome to the Poachers Pickleball Podcast. Spencer, welcome back. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm good. Long week, busy week, almost close to graduating, but a few more
Good.
weeks.
Good more. I mean, you recovered from our week in Zion at the pickleball PPA.
Yeah, I did. That was pretty fun, I thought. And then I got to
Yeah,
write a cool feature story on kind of pickleball in St. George and kind of throw that in there too. So that was awesome.
yeah. And I actually didn't put the link in the old one, but we'll put it in this one in the notes for this one. Um, this one's going to be kind of a short but slash double episode. So we're going to talk a little bit about the PPA Asia Hanoi Cup. And it was in Vietnam, and we also have a special interview. I'll put after before after I don't know. We'll see. Just wait and see. With uh, Camila Zilveti, and she is a PPA pro. She also is the founder of 11 which is a pickleball and accessories company. She's got a great story about how she got into pickleball and pro pickleball, and also how she founded the this pickleball company. It's pretty cool. So stay tuned for that, and we will dive right in with my question for you, Spencer. First of all, the only reason we're mentioning that's PPA Asia is a whole bunch of Americans went over to play there. So that's why the spotlight is on that. There's no other American PPA tournament going on until next week, the 13th, I think 13th, 14th through the 19th in Sacramento. So this is on for us in the middle of the night. What when you have to watch a show, or like let's say you're interested in a sport, but it's in the US, it's late. What do you do? How do you deal with this?
Usually I don't have this issue. I'm trying to think and obviously I didn't have time to catch any of this week, but I kind of followed along on social media. But my thing would probably be you just got to suck it up and watch it if you care enough, right? It's like when the World Cup was in South Africa in
Hmm.
2010 and you had to get up at 3 a.m. to watch the games you wanted to, or I'm trying to think of a more recent one. Just slipped my mind. But oh yeah, I like to watch Premier League soccer, right? And the games start Saturday mornings at 5:30 Utah time, which is
Hmm.
it's pretty early to get up for a sporting event. So not quite middle of the night, but similar type thing. So I mean, if you love it, you just do it.
So I agree. However, it's tough because this was truly the middle of the night for a lot of these, except maybe even Saturday and Sunday. But um, what I did was watch as much as I could because obviously I have to do my day job in the real day, so I can't stay up too
Yeah.
crazy late. But then what I did on Sunday actually is I purposely just kind of stayed away from social media and just watched the whole thing like Sunday afternoon on my own time. It was on the PPA Asia YouTube channel, so it's kind of one of those things where you go dark and at least for me, I just watched the whole thing on Sunday. It was kind of nice, relaxing. I just gotta watch on my own time, knowing that as long as I don't check Twitter or X or whatever, then I'm good to go. So.
Nice.
Obviously, this is not going to be an issue most of the time. It's just that this happens to be when a bunch of Americans went out over to play, and they did this last year at a couple of places. I think Singapore, I can't really remember. Maybe in Australia, there's a few American players that went over. This particular tournament, a lot more players went over. I think some of the people got jealous that like it seemed like a good time and almost like a mix, a little bit of a vacation. Some people I think are staying a little bit later. We'll see if that actually. I think there's some people that are staying even longer and will miss the Sacramento PPA, which will be interesting for if Ben Johns or AL Dub. I'm not exactly sure if they're playing. I don't think they are. That'll be a little bit more open field for some people to get a championship where they typically don't have much of a chance. So that we'll preview that once the draws come available next week. But it was. I think we talked about this last week. I predicted that it would be mostly an American showing. There wouldn't be too many upsets. However, there was one upset that kind of the line call heard around the world, at least for this particular issue. So in men's singles, Christian Alshon was the number one seed, and he was playing on not center court because center court does have video review. He was playing on what's the other court called? I can't grandstand. He was playing on grandstand, and he lost the first game, won the second game, I think 11-0, and then it was down for a little bit, kind of came back, and I think he was pretty close, but it was 10. The other guy was serving. I don't even know his name. um, Serving for the match, and Alshon hit the ball back, and the guy just called it out. And then from our view, and we're only seeing the back line view, which where the camera was, it looks like it's in. And Alshon was like kind of like confused and you couldn't believe, but you can't, they couldn't review it. So again, we have the classic people calling their own lines to their advantage and looks like they're cheating. Um, what are your thoughts on this? I know we've talked about it before, but this is okay. What do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely controversial. It's something that's just kind of interesting, but I don't know. Pickleball, I know pickleball is a relatively new sport and it's all like like you said, trust each other's calls and whatnot, but we got to get rid of that. Like, and we really need like some kind of almost like goal line technology, right? But just outline technology, I guess, for pickleball because yeah, you every once in a while you get one of these and it's pretty controversial. And I'm assuming the reason they couldn't go to replay is just because it was PPA Asia would be my assumption.
Yeah, so it's only the replay was only available on the main center court, so not this side court, which
Oh,
this isn't even like a side court. This is the next best court. So kind
that's an
of
issue too.
yeah. Um it, it's pretty yeah, I get what it is. And I guess apparently there's some other replays and it's notoriously hard to call or hard to see if something's out when you're looking at it from the back. So some people are, have in theory there's some side views that are make it show it a little bit closer, but it still is a big deal because this guy's essentially uh, potentially making a bad call or a cheating call to win the match. Now, here's what I will say, and I've said this before: if it's down to the line, like somebody making a bad line call, and you're going to lose that, you kind of put yourself in that situation, right? Like you can't let it get that close. I kind of always have said like sometimes you have to beat the refs and the other team, So in this case, you have to beat the bad line call by not putting yourself in a match point situation. So that's another argument you can make as well. So any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he was probably heavily favored, I would assume. And I don't know if you've been doing the Kalshi stuff at all still.
It's not available
But
for pickleball, which is frustrating. I wish it was.
oh,
But with that, there is we should plug this really quick. And I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you brought this to mind. There is an app called Match Day. Is that what it's called? Match Day. And it'll let you pick the winners for the tournament. I wish it was slightly more robust, but it actually is really good for live stuff. It's really anyway. Match Day is excellent, and it's you guys got to check it out if you're at all interested in pickleball. It's way better than like pickleballtournaments.com or whatever that horrible website is. That's
oh yeah,
really
that
hard.
that site stinks real bad.
No offense, but anyway, so Match Day is a great app that it does let you pick. I wish it was like a full bracket like March Madness, but it does let you pick like your silver, gold, and bronze. And it's kind of cool because if you pick somebody for like gold, you and then like again, this is behind the scenes because you can't see the bracket, but you can't pick certain people because in theory that guy to get gold beat your guy to get that you were going to pick for bronze. So it will say like, hey, he's eliminated, he's potentially eliminated by that person that you've already picked. So it's good, but I want to see it do a little better. And then I think Pickleball Wave I think has brackets picked. I haven't looked at that one yet either, but that's definitely makes it more fun. Um, just like putting your picks in and kind of rooting for your people, the guys and gals that you want to win. So anyway, um,
Nice. I should try that.
I totally we'll do it for what we should do is do it for Sacramento and then see how we do. I totally interrupted you. Anything else you want to say about the Alshon thing?
No, I was just saying, like you said, don't put yourself in that situation, right? He was heavily favored, I'm sure. Um, he should have just taken care of business, in all honesty.
Yeah, and I believe that the competitor ended up getting a picture with Alshon after calling that ball out, which looks even worse. That's like basically saying calling a missed basket on the dream team and then getting a picture with him, right? Like in Barcelona or something. Like
Yeah.
it's really weird. But anyway, is what it is. So we'll see if they get better on the technology. And again, you're right. It's like one step removed from even the PPA in the US, right? I think the PPA in Asia, this is their second year in existence. So okay. With that said, again, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, just because it was kind of chalk except for the men's, and we just talked about that a little bit. But women's singles actually was a really, really, really good match on Championship Sunday. Caitlin Christian and Brooke Buckner were playing for the champ for gold, and it looked like Brooke Buckner was just going to beat. It looked like basically Caitlin Christian was on the ropes in game two. Buckner won first game. Caitlin was down a bunch, and she was I can't even remember, I don't remember the scores. I wish I did. One of these days we'll get better at podcasting and preparing. But basically, she fought her. I thought it was over. Truly, because I was watching Sunday afternoon, and I'm like, this is over. Like, congrats, Brooke Buckner, you won. And then Caitlin just comes back methodically, somehow turns it around, wins game two, and then wins game three. And it was she basically saved a whole bunch of match points, and finally beat Buckner. So it was actually really cool. Um, and then
I've got scores for you if you want
oh,
them.
tell me.
So it was 11-7, 14-12, 11-9.
There you go.
But she was down 8-2 in the second game.
8-2. So think about it. She knows so Buckner needs three more points while Christian needs what would that be 9 points, and then even then they go to 14-12. So it was cool. Thanks for saving my bacon on that one. It was awesome. It was just awesome to watch. In fact, if you want to go back and watch, it's on the PPA Asia YouTube page, and it's an awesome again. And you guys know how I feel about singles. It's not my favorite, but this was kind of like a heavyweight fight, right? Where somebody's on the ropes and she somehow comes back and wins. I'll just mention this too, really quick. The conditions there, and everyone kind of knows this, it's super humid there, super hot. They're playing with a Yola ball and they're playing on rollout court. So it is from what the pros have said, it's basically like the exact opposite of what it was at PPA in St. George. The ball is really slow. It does not fly like it flies in, that higher elevation in Utah. So it's just a big adjustment. And so obviously all the Asian players are kind of used to those conditions. But the American players aren't. So they're traveling. They're not used to those conditions. Obviously they had to make adjustments. But you could tell during all the matches, people are just sweating up a storm. I mean, I've never seen like these people sweat like this, and I'm just thinking, dude, you better get some electrolytes in. You better like I think Fed changed his shirt like 20 times. Like it was crazy. Like it's they were just like melting there. So anyway, um, with that said, that's the Americans still kind of dominated for lack of a better word, except for in the men's. And again, we talked about that a little bit. But it was two Vietnamese players playing for the final and on Championship Sunday. And I'm not going to say these right. Hong Nam Lee won in straight games over Hang Trong. So apparently he's done back-to-back golds. So apparently, and from what I gather, from what I've heard, the men's singles is again singles. People that these guys, a lot of these guys are from tennis, and singles traveling, going from singles tennis to singles pickleball is a much easier transition, and that's where they're obviously a lot closer to the Americans in pickleball. So that's where the Vietnamese fans got to basically watch their hometown guys, which was pretty cool for them. And I'll say this too, just let me chime in real quick. The fans were awesome. They were super excited, and actually they put on I think the PPA in Asia put on a great show. If you get a chance, you can go watch the very beginning of Sunday. They had this great. It was almost like a little miniature Olympics opening thing. They had like a big white sheet on the ground. They're broadcasting a bunch of stuff. Then they had like dancers out there dancing, and then they had like people in robot outfits, like with lasers on their face, dancing around, and
Sounds fun.
it was weird but cool because it was like exciting, a little more exciting than what we saw on Sunday in St. George. So it is kind of cool. They really celebrated it, and they brought a lot of fans there. The fans were really like it was really loud. You could tell it was pretty electric there, and it was kind of cool. They would sign balls and then hit balls into the winning team would hit balls into the crowd, so you have like a little souvenir that you could potentially win. So I think they did a really good job on that. Um, Really quick, women's doubles, Annalie Waters, Anna Bright, no problem there, right? Like 18 titles together, they just dominated. Not much to say there. Um, the men's doubles final was interesting. Ben Johns Gabe Tardio opened with 11-0 pickle. Then it got pushed to a side. Now I should tell you that they only play 3 games in this championship in PP Asia. They don't play 5. So they lost the first, or sorry, they won the first, lost the second one, and then ended up closing it out. And Tardio and Johns apparently can't be beat. We'll see. Actually, the kind of interesting thing is that the team that they played was Patrick Quinn and Stackstrud, and that's the last team that actually beat them beat Johns and Tardio a while ago back in Worlds. So, and again, if you're following along, Patriquin and Stacksrud no longer play together. It's now normally now it's Patriquin and Alshon and Stacksrud and Andre Askew. So kind of a nice little, you know, uh, reconciliation, I guess, for lack of a better word, for Patriquin and Stacksrud, your guys fed to play together. Mixed doubles, no surprise there. Waters and Johns ended up beating Caitlin Christian and this is the Christian team. Caitlin Christian and Christian Alshon. So Christian and Christian lost to Johns and Waters. The one thing that was interesting is that Caitlin Christian and Christian Alshon beat Bright and Patriquin. So that was kind of a big deal that was not expected. That was a bit of an upset as well. Anything else on PPA Asia? I mean, obviously we only pay attention to it because there's American players. Um, any other thoughts on that? I mean, what do you think overall just about Americans going over there and playing and promoting the sport?
I think it's fun just overall, probably for the, I mean, the travel was probably a nightmare. And yeah, it looked like it was hot, but I think that's pretty cool overall that they can send, some of the top Americans over there to kind of grow the game in Asia. And it sounds like it's not doing half bad. I will say too that it wasn't as chalk as I was thinking it was going to be. That was nice.
Yes.
The semifinals, we had the men's number one, Stacksrud. He got knocked out. And then we had Kate Fahey get knocked out. And then even mixed doubles, as you already talked about, Caitlin Christian and Christian Alshon, um, they upset Anna Bright and Hayden Patrick, who were the higher seed. So it was kind of nice to see, like, oh, maybe it's not so chalk as we always think it is.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely mostly Americans, but it definitely wasn't as chalk, and it was nice to see a few different partnerships. In fact, one that was pretty interesting was shoot, was it Tyra Black and Gabe Tardio in mixed, and Tardio has been playing with Parento, and him playing with sorry, Gabe playing with Tyra Black, to me, that's like the best offensive player and with the best defensive player because Tyra Black's so good at defense. I was pretty excited to watch that. That was really cool. And I'd love to see that a little more often. Obviously, Tardio and Parento are good too, but Tyra Black, dude, she's just fun to watch, and her and Tardio, I think, would be a really fun partnership that I'd love to see go forward. Again, we'll see next week. Obviously, we'll talk about the PPA Sacramento preview once we have the draws and we record next week. Here's the good news though, Spencer. They're not playing with wooden paddles like they did last year.
Yay.
Last year they were like, it's been, I don't know, 40 years since pickleball was invented. Let's do a throwback tournament, play with wooden paddles, and it was fine, but the paddles are a lot heavier, and the people that did really well were kind of the old school players that had been used to playing with not as good of equipment, so they're kind of used to being able to like adjust to less responsive equipment, let's say. But I'm pro technology. I'm pro moving forward. I'm glad they're not playing with wooden paddles this year. It's just it's like a good idea, but it's almost like that should be an exhibition and not an actual championship. Wooden paddles. What do you think?
Agreed.
Just okay. Just play with your normal equipment. Like I don't know. I'm trying to think of an equivalent to that. Like with football, NFL playing with like the roundish football from from the 1910s or whatever that original football was. Like it would just be
Football
weird.
playing with leather helmets.
Yeah, there you go. That's what it'd be like. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone. Like, subscribe, and make sure to share and continue to listen on here for the interview with Camilla. And appreciate it. Appreciate the support you guys give us. Let us know what any feedback you got, anything you want to hear, and we'll catch you next time on the Poachers Pickleball Podcast. Welcome to the Poachers Pickleball Podcast. I am really excited to have Camila Zilveti on. She is the founder of 11-0 Pickleball, does paddles, gear, all that fun stuff. She's also a PPA pro. Really excited that she is taking the time to chat with us and excited to hear more about you. Camila, welcome.
Thank you, Matt. I'm excited to be here.
You also have a podcast. Tell us a little about your pod. Well, actually, let's back up. Let's without going too fast. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your how you got into pickleball, how you became a pro, your history, all that fun stuff.
All right, so my quick elevator pitch. I joined an Austin Sports and Social. I'm based out of Austin, Texas. I joined an Austin Sports and Social League with one of my best friends from high school, Millen, and we were playing with. I'm gonna actually even show you that wooden paddle, that blue wooden paddle. It's like a nice wooden
And it
paddle.
even has the little thing to hold on your wrist, so make sure it doesn't fly off. Is that right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
racquetball? Okay.
Yeah, and so we joined the league. I bought those really fancy paddles, which compared to the ones that they had in the league, those wooden ones, fancy. Um, we destroyed the league, so we like absolutely crushed everybody. And it was like a bunch of people that like were like kind of knew the rules, like we didn't really know the rules. We just like showed up and just played. Um, I played high school tennis with my friend
Okay,
Dylan.
that's what I was wondering if you had the background. Okay, got it.
Yeah. And then I was like, that was so fun. And then one of my other high school friends was like, oh, there's these courts on like the east side of Austin, which I don't know if you've ever been to Austin, but like the east side, I'm not gonna say it's sketchy because it's still Austin, but for the standards of Austin, east side is like where you might find some interesting characters.
All I know is Franklin's in Austin, and it's amazing. It's
Yeah, no,
unbelievable.
the food,
So
yeah,
there you go.
that's
Okay.
yeah, the lino is outside.
Luckily, I got there during COVID, and they just put it in my trunk, and it was amazing. So anyway, all right, keep
Um,
going. So East Side is bad.
Yeah, so I show up. So my other friend Aaron, he goes, there's these like kind of courts like in the east side. Like, do you want to go check them out? And we show up, and it's three permanent courts on roller derby level surface, so flat. So like absolutely just like a concrete slab and like shiny concrete slab. And then there's some pseudo like painted on the floor lines that some people brought net in. Hundreds and hundreds of people just hanging out there, drinking beers, having the time of their life. And I was like, oh my gosh, this place is awesome. And like they had like a little King's Court rotation on like the main court, and then all the other ones were just like you had put paddle stacked and then
Yeah, yeah.
shut up. And we went and I was like, oh my God, I want to die here. Like this is awesome. And then like that week I just like went every single day. I literally just went every single day and I was like, I'm gonna go here until I die. And then really, really soon after, so like day three of me going to this park, um, I met my now husband there,
Hmm.
Brian, and like again, I was like playing with my like crappy wooden paddle, I was like, this is the best.
Hmm.
And yeah, I'm just like I compliment his pickleball shots. He played college tennis, so he had like actual like pretty ground strokes.
Hmm.
And we kind of hit it off. And again, and like for the first like year of our relationship, we basically just went to those courts every single evening, just hung out with people. And like honestly, most of my like closest friends in Austin all come from those like crappy courts. And that was like before like they had like the big like the pickle
What
ranch.
what year are we talking? Is this?
This is like four, it's like right after COVID, so like
Okay,
4.5, 5 years ago.
okay, okay.
Um, so like there weren't really like too many public like there was like two public courts in all of Austin.
Hmm.
So it's not that like and there weren't like indoor facilities.
Right, right.
There weren't clubs at that time. So it's like anybody like pickleball, they were just like,
You're on the concrete slab.
yeah.
Is the ball skidding like crazy or?
Yeah, oh yeah, no,
Okay.
like it's like a craft to go play on those courts. Like I sometimes still we still go like we probably go like once a month, just
Yeah,
like so we still know everybody that goes there. Um, and it's like a craft. Like I'm like there, I'm like I need to just like hone my craft, just like watch it slide.
yeah.
It's um,
Awesome.
but yeah, so that's how I got into pickleball, and then so the progression, like everyone got super addicted, and then started doing tournaments, and then got better level play, and then yeah.
Then how did you get on the tour? How did that happen?
A little bit of lucky timing with the whole Tour Wars
Sure.
situation. I had been like starting to play some pro pickleball at that time, and as I mean, like most people in the Tour Wars time, it was just a timing thing where I was like, yeah, right person, right time, called the right people, got called by, and I was kind of hesitant because I was like, I don't know if I can commit to this for 3 years because I was like, usually I'm like a person where I'll play a sport for 2 years and I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
moving on.
yeah.
Um, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. And like I chatted with Brian and I was just like, can I do this for 3 years? And he was like, yeah, like you'll be fine. And I was like, okay.
Nice.
And it has been pretty cool to see how much like it has grown, even just like in the small amount of times where I've been in it.
Yeah, yeah.
How long have you been playing for?
I played so during COVID, I happened to be on vacation in Colorado, and we were just walking around. There's some tennis courts by our condo, and they were teaching pickleball. And so my buddy who was a tennis player, I've only ever played racquetball a little bit when I was a kid.
Oh, nice.
But anyway, and I was more of a basketball player anyway. But anyway, this guy just randomly taught us how to play, and I'm like, this is amazing. We need to play this when we get back home I'm in Utah, so. Anyway, so then I just started playing. My buddies started picking it up, and then we just kind of have this group that we always play with. And Yeah, so just been playing for a while through a couple knee surgeries randomly. I'm much older than you are, so we're like kind of like, okay, gotta get this meniscus tear fixed, and then I'm back in 2 months. So anyway, yeah, so I just play recreationally, just for fun. But I gotta ask, like, why did you want to start a paddle company? Like, what? I'm gonna guess that you might be the only like female that owns a paddle company, at least that I know of, and
As
you're
far
one
as
of
I'm
like
aware, also, which
you
I feel like
you
I should lean in on that a little bit more.
you probably should, and that like
Yeah.
all the ladies should be buying your paddle. I actually am curious also because I think you're maybe one of three pickleball podcasts that I know of that feature females or were started by females as well. So I want to hear about the podcast, but I also want to hear about the paddle company. So what do you pick first? What do you want to tell us about?
All right, so first the paddles.
Okay,
Do you know anything about esports?
I do. I do actually.
You
My wife and I met playing video games. I met well I played basketball with her brother, long story short, and then
okay?
we would always go over and play like Crash Team Racing all night. And then I'm not good enough to play esports, but yeah, it's obviously a huge deal. And yeah,
Yeah.
anyway,
Do you happen to know the esports company Fnatic?
I don't think I know. I don't think I do.
So they're the largest esports company in Europe.
Okay.
So my husband started that one,
Oh,
and he
okay.
was the founder and CEO for that one for like before I met him.
Yeah.
Um,
He's
he's
a big time gamer, right? Like,
yeah, he's a big time
okay.
gamer.
Okay, cool.
He used to be like what was it like number one in North America when he was 22 at some random game that I've never heard of. I don't even like I wouldn't be able to point it out. Like I'm like that's not my
Well,
world.
sure.
Um, but so he started that company. It's like
Okay.
it's massive. Yeah, it's like a massive company. And
Okay.
then after that, he started like a top 100 cryptocurrency companies.
Okay.
Um, and so he just is a serial entrepreneur of
Okay.
just everything. And then he was sick and tired of not making like physical products. And then
Mm.
we've been kind of like messing around with the idea of like if you look at up here, it's like, let's see, half of these, it's like we have like that one. He handmade that one in my parents' garage. Like he just has been messing around with making paddles. Um, like he loves it. And then
Mm.
I when I first signed with the tour, I was like kind of talking to paddle companies and like one of them honestly offered me a good amount of money, especially like where I was at and but I wasn't like thrilled with the paddle and then other
Hmm.
one like it was just like a thing where I was like I don't know if like I want and Brian was like why don't we just make our own paddles, you know? Like
Awesome.
he was like I can do a better job than half of these companies faster. Um and I was like, you know what? You need a hobby, let's do it. Um
Nice.
yeah, and
And then
so
and then you've kind of got the expertise as far as feel or what you want to,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, and obviously I think it helps that I can talk with players on like
Mm.
on the pro tour of like people like I hear people complain and kind of like behind closed doors of like "Oh, I hate this handle or like oh I hate this grip that's paying me a lot of money to use this grip or there's like things where it's like I know if people actually like it or not
Right.
not just because they're getting a check for it
Sure.
and so we made paddles I feel like I'm like this is like a show and tell room
No, I love
um
it. It's actually awesome for the
I
visual.
like didn't even
That's
put
like
it
the
up
history. It's like a little history of
yeah
paddles here.
this paddle
Yep.
and this one.
Hmm.
So it was a carbon paddle and then a Kevlar paddle.
Hmm.
So we went to China
Hmm.
to go like visit factories and stuff. I also
Hmm.
traveled a good amount. That's like
We're
my
gonna we're
other
gonna we're gonna talk about that for sure because I gotta ask you about that.
yeah,
Like,
that's like just like
yeah, that's
for
just
me
a normal
like
thing for
I'm
you.
sports and then I'm travel and it's like two worlds of like my
Yeah.
life.
Let's combine them.
Um but so we went to China and we visited the factories and I loved this paddle was awesome. So that
Hmm.
is still awesome because it doesn't delaminate like all the other ones. However, it's obviously still it's a Gen 2 technology. So
Yeah.
at the time it was like really good.
Uh-huh.
And then the whole UPA certification thing came about.
Yep.
And so we basically were like, okay, let's put things on pause because it was incredibly expensive and they kept
Yeah.
moving kind of the requirements of like
Yep.
1 week it was you can have this and then it was like oh actually if you pay this extra fee now you can do this and like it was just too many like moving pieces where we were like okay
Right.
let's halt
Yep.
we have two backpacks that we also made when we were in China
Hmm.
we've had that one sell out a good amount of times so that's like really awesome and like
Those
so we've been
actually those actually
focusing on
look
like
up
accessories
those look amazing. The white one's amazing. The problem is my wife would divorce me if I bought another backpack or whatever. So anyway, so you made the backpacks and then you're like, okay, let's hold on, let's wait.
yeah
And then are these like Gen 3? Are they Gen 4? What are we talking about with these
so
ones?
So now we have a new lineup, and
Yep, the
it's
new line.
yeah,
By the
so it's
way,
all of whoop,
oh,
with different logos. See, this
so the
is a
logo.
3D printed one.
That's amazing. I love the new logo. That how did that? Can you tell me real quick about the new logo? Because it, no
I
offense to the old
hated the old
logo.
logo.
Okay, the
I
other old logo is not the greatest, but this one
No,
looks
the old
amazing.
logo's awful. And from like this day one, and Brian was like, "No, I already committed." And I was just like, "No." I was just like, "Why would you do that?" You know? And so that was like the one thing where I was like, "I'm not playing with this if it's with a crappy logo." Um, like, oh my gosh, so much. Yeah, but I love, 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 love this new logo.
Yeah, it looks
We have
awesome.
a phenomenal designer that we
Oh,
work
I
with.
didn't
He's
know on the sides it was the logo there too. That's really cool.
Yeah,
Oh, that's way cool. I didn't notice that. Very cool.
yeah. No,
Yeah, you have a great
I
designer.
love the
Sorry,
new logo.
I interrupted you. You
Um,
have a great designer. Go
yeah.
on.
Um, and so these are all, so we have five that passed UPA testing.
Okay.
Go. Um, four of which are triple density foam cores. So the ones with the white edge guard, so white, white, white,
Mm-hmm.
two different of the 16 and 4. This
Okay.
one's 16. So they passed UPA testing. And then we have this one, which is a Gen 1.5, if that makes sense to you.
Not
Um,
really. That's weird. Like Gen 1.5 is, yeah, I don't know
like
if I've
Gen,
heard.
Gen 1, I would go with Gen 1 is like a recess paddle.
Hmm.
Are you familiar with like the paddle tech paddles?
Not really. Not as much.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
I
more
would say
like, yeah.
all of those are like Gen 1.5s.
Okay, yeah, those seem to hit pretty hard to me. They seem like more stiff. Am I
Yeah,
correct
so
on that?
it's
Okay.
just a completely different feel that you
Yeah.
get from those paddles than you get
Yep.
from like the foam paddles.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
so this specific paddle is for people that prefer that.
Okay. I don't prefer that.
Yeah.
I've hit a couple pile techs and I was like, I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
about these.
So it's one of those
It's
like
just,
personal
yeah,
preference things
sure,
where
sure.
either you like it or you don't. So
But
that one,
that one's also past the UPA, right?
yeah, so that one passed UPA. I actually played the first four tournaments of the year with that one at
Oh, okay.
PPAs. Um, and I'm like trying to like kind of play with all of them at the tournaments to like let's say make sure that they're up to standards and that I
Uh-huh.
don't feel like I have obviously personal preferences about what I play with,
Sure.
but I still want to be able to play with a paddle and be like, yeah, this is a good paddle, like at a tournament where I'm not like I'm underpowered because there was like one phase where I was like I'm underpowered where it was when we had this paddle come
Hmm.
out and then at some point I was like, huh, I was like now I'm like kind of feeling underpowered compared to what other things are coming out.
Right, right.
Um and so I'm getting that like very quick, immediate feedback. And then I go home and I'm like, Brian, make me a new paddle now. And he goes, oh my gosh, okay, like let's get to
He's
it.
like, no problem. Let's do this.
Yeah, he's like, don't worry, give me 20 months. You know? Yeah, he's like, ah, pain in the ass, but okay. But these paddles are excellent. We just got the 14 E14 USAP and UPA approved.
Hmm.
So that
Cool.
one will be
But
so we have this one already available for pre-order, and then the E14 is the first one that like has all the certifications like done. So that
yep.
one will be available for pre-order, I think, May 1st.
Okay.
Um, and then the other ones, I have no idea since the certifications sometimes take a while.
Okay. And then I know you've
But
been
they're all UPA approved, so I can
yeah.
play with them. So in a way, like I don't really care.
Yeah, so they're all basically the Pro Tour approved, right? For those that, so one of the things we do on this podcast is try to explain to people that are rec players that maybe want to get into the pro game or start watching this. These are approved for pro players, the Pro Tour, basically the PPA Tour, MLT, but not necessarily for like amateur tournaments, right? That's
No,
the
no, no, they
gist.
are for amateur tournaments
Oh,
too.
they're amateur tournaments. Okay,
So UPA
sorry.
UPA is owned by PPA.
Okay,
And then, so basically, if you are an amateur and you want to play in a PPA or a
amateur event.
challenger
Okay,
or honestly most money balls,
yeah,
most of them accept UPA approval.
got it.
Specifically, if you want to play an APP, so the competing
Oh, okay, yeah.
Pro Tour 2 PPA, you
The
need
redhead stepchild.
yeah, so then you need like the
Yeah,
USAP approval.
got it. Okay,
Yeah. So it's like kind of like two certifications and like depends on what tournament you're trying to play.
yeah.
I would assume with basically every league nowadays, they'll take either certification.
Hmm.
Um, and then again, for the amateurs, it doesn't really affect you as much. It's
Yeah.
just only if you're playing in pro. If you're playing at PPA, you need a UPA approval, and if you're playing an APP, you need a USAP approval.
Got it. Okay, thanks for the explanation. I would guess that most people that listen to this are probably amateur and just playing with rec, so doesn't matter. But
Yeah, it's funny because we also had a bunch of them fail, and I'm like, but they're like failing, like they're too powerful or they're too gritty or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And people keep messaging like, "Can I buy it?" Like, I don't play tournaments. Like, I don't care. And I think like, yeah, like I'll just sand off the logo. Like, I don't care. Like that's fine with
No,
me.
we can't get rid of the logo. Come on, Camilla.
Well,
We
no,
got
not the logo. Like
I see. I see the
all
there
of them have like a little
yes, there you go.
stamp. Yeah.
I was gonna say, don't get rid of my favorite logo. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, I mean, I guess you can, like, which is true, because, like, for example, like, my mom doesn't care if I paid an extra $50,000 for a stamp. Like, she just
Yeah.
wants a paddle.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And they want, like, and for us, like, my biggest grievance with any paddle is that they don't last very long.
Hmm.
And so that's like with the triple density foam course, like, these paddles, at least I've not had one fail UPA testing yet. So they're lasting pretty well.
What about the Gen 1.5 one? Is that prone, a little bit more prone to like,
That one should actually last longer.
oh,
The
okay.
Gen 1.5, the only part where they're not gonna, so since they're not built with foam,
Yeah.
um, the core crushing doesn't, it's like a different, they will snap on the
Oh, okay.
handle before
Oh, okay.
they
Okay.
delaminate.
Got it.
Because they
Okay.
can't delaminate because they're not thermoformed.
Got it.
You can only delaminate if you're thermoformed, but it has other issues, but they're not gonna suddenly
It's not
like,
the yeah, they're not the core crushing that's been common
yeah,
with the Gen
yeah,
3s, I think.
yeah.
Um, that's cool. Yeah, I actually I'm like I buy too many paddles. My wife, it drives her crazy, and so I've never had one go bad because I just keep switching and just keep playing around with other stuff. So anyway, so for people that might follow you, you're looks like you're signing some pros, which I'm sure you can't announce yet, but we're excited for that. And then I also was curious because I haven't seen this, but maybe you're working on this. I think one of the at least for me, as kind of a casual player or rec player, but also kind of a paddle nerd a little bit. Are you going to start giving these to like paddle reviewers and go that route so that they can kind of because I think that's like a good way to promote your paddle and personally. Um,
Yeah, we, if you look in my living room, we literally have boxes right now. And for each paddle reviewer, they're like getting kind of a different box because like I know what paddles they prefer and stuff.
sure.
Um, and the paddle reviewers is an interesting one in my
Yeah.
book
Okay.
because
Tell me. Yeah.
one, I mean, we're really excited to work with all of them and they're all great. Um, One, I think mainly men watch paddle reviewers.
Yeah. That's me.
I don't have never spoken to a female friend that plays pickleball that's like, oh, did you see on this paddle
No.
reviewer's latest thing about the paddle? Like they don't, they either like the logo, they like the design, or they see their guy friends that said, hey, this paddle reviewer said this paddle's good. So like on a completely different thought, I have been thinking about making paddle reviews myself, which is a little bit hard if obviously I have like conflicting
Yeah.
interests. But like I can honestly tell you every single paddle, my thoughts on it, and like
Yeah.
if I think
Yeah.
it's a good paddle, because I think it's also very different if you're 5'4" or if you're a 6 foot tall guy on what paddle you should be playing with.
Hmm.
Um, and then you should also be playing with a completely different paddle if, let's say, your game is like speeding up off the bounce, or if you're taking like speeding, like if your game is just countering.
Hmm.
Um, so depending on your game style, it kind of depends on what paddle you should be playing with. And then with a bunch of the paddle reviewers, only a few of them are high level players,
Hmm.
where to the point where I'm like, it's like if like I love golf and I'm a 15 handicap golf, which is great. But to be
Hmm.
honest, like I can't feel if it's a good
Right.
golf club the way a pro golfer can feel.
Right. Right.
So it is like for me, I'm always like, like we're kind of giving the paddle destiny to 4-0 players that randomly decided that the perfect sweet spot was this twist weight, but like yes, but no. It's like they
Sure.
have these arbitrary numbers, but it's like, well, it depends for the paddle. Um,
Yeah.
So that is like something that like scares me. Brian's like, yeah, we should for sure send them to all the reviewers and they'll be great.
Yeah, so it's a couple things. So I definitely agree with you. All the like my friends' wives that we play with all the time. Usually what happens is I'll play with a paddle and then let them try it and they're like, "Oh, I like this one." And then they'll end up getting it or I gave one to my friend and my friend and then he just like his wife actually liked it. And so anyway, I agree with you that it's probably mostly men that are watching it. However, my counter to what you said was most of the people buying paddles are probably not pros that, are going to, know or care that much, I guess. I don't know. Does that make sense? Like you're selling to the masses, I hope. and not just
Yeah.
pros. So
No, well,
hopefully,
I mean, the pros
does
are
that
all
make
expected
sense?
paddles. I do not want to sell to pros, but
Sure.
more if you're giving feedback on a paddle, it's like you can't really like if you ask my mom between the difference between any of these paddles,
Yeah. Yeah.
she does not feel the difference.
Hmm.
Like she literally does not feel the difference because her shots, like she's not consistent enough to like
Right.
replicate the same motion
Gotcha.
to be able to test it properly.
Yeah.
To the point where I'm like, well, only because you're missing doesn't mean it's a bad paddle. It's
Right.
just
Right.
you just need to adjust your swing. Or for example, like for the new Yola Agassi paddle, it's like the sweet spot's a lot higher.
Right. Right.
And if you suddenly have people that can't adjust their sweet spot, whatever
Right.
inches, they
Yeah.
might say it's a bad paddle, but it's like actually it's a pretty good paddle, you know?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, exactly. No,
um
it's a good point. It's a
yeah.
good point. I just was I was one of the reasons I wanted to have you on here, obviously, just to, get to know you and it helps our podcast, obviously. But like also with the new launch, I like let's promote this a little bit and get it out there because those are they look good, and I know that you're as a pro, you're probably like, here's what I want, and you have a
Yeah.
good sense of what to build. So awesome. Tell us a little bit about traveling. You are not for this is your third language. English is your third language, right?
It is.
So tell us a
I
little bit
got I
about
got in
that.
a Twitter fight yesterday and someone was like, "You don't have an accent though." And I was like, "Doesn't mean it's not my third language."
When did you move to the States? How
So,
old were you?
um I'll give a quick so
Yeah.
I grew up in Guatemala.
Right.
Neither one of my parents are from there. My
Okay.
mom's German and my dad's from
Okay.
Chile, and they just like my
Let's just
mom
meet
wanted
in the
to learn.
middle. Let's meet in the middle in Central America. Is
Yeah, my
that?
dad's sister married a Guatemalan, and so they were living in Guatemala.
Okay.
And so my mom wanted to learn Spanish, and so they were like, "Oh, let's just move there for a year," and then they like loved it, and so that's why I grew up there. Um, but like growing up, my mom would speak to me in German, my dad would speak to me in Spanish, but since they met each other in English, they've always spoken to each other in English.
Gotcha.
But I would like until I was 13 years old, you would not catch me dead speaking to someone in English. Like I was like
Huh.
mute in English because I was like, ew, gross language. Like I'd rather reply to people in Spanish and in German. Um, and yeah, so I lived in Guatemala for 12 years.
Okay.
And um, yeah, so but like I did not speak a lick of English until I was like in the States. And then it was like one day to the next, after a year of being in elementary school, my brother and I just started speaking to each other in English, and my parents were like, "Whoa, this is weird." Like they used to speak to each other in Spanish, like now they just speak to each other in English.
So I have to ask, did your dad learn German or did your mom learn Spanish in the meantime?
Both of them speak the other one. So,
Okay.
my dad took a bunch of classes in the university
Okay.
for German because he was dating
Hmm.
my mom.
Yep.
And how he describes it is he was basically mute. He knew every single word in the entire textbook, but forming a sentence is kind of hard. And I mean, German's a very unfortunately tough language.
Yeah.
And then he basically learned proper German, like to speak,
Yeah.
by my mom teaching my brother and I.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then my mom, obviously, if you live somewhere for 15 years, you're gonna speak Spanish. So
Yeah.
she speaks Spanish now. It is funny though, with my dad, anytime he speaks in German, when we go, like anytime we, like my mom's side of the family, everyone lives in Germany. We will go to Germany and do you speak any other languages?
Nope. Sorry. I mean, a poquito español, but no, not really.
Okay, so you know how in Spanish it's like él y la?
Hmm.
So in German they have der, die, das.
Okay.
So it's like the feminine, masculine, and the neutral.
Yeah.
And unlike Spanish, where it kind of makes sense which one goes with which, you just
Right.
have to know.
You just
Like
have to know in
you have
German.
to know. And so my dad's out here just like the most basic words, he just throws the wrong article from because like it does not make sense in German. Like you just like you know or you don't know. And so
Uh,
people are always, man, this guy like knows like philosophy words, but just not the right article. Like what is happening? Um,
so he just
yeah,
sounds
but
awkward to the
that's
native speakers, probably. Yeah.
yeah.
That's cool. So tell us about travel. You're trying to hit 100 countries this year. You're at what? What are you at right now?
I'm at 94.
Okay, 94. So you
And
got
I
six
turned I
six to
turned
go.
30 years old in September. So my like goal is 100 before 30. I've never
Hmm.
had like counting countries as a goal before, but now I'm like
Yeah.
I'm just so close.
Hmm. Do you consider, so what do you consider visiting? So I had a stopover in Reykjavik, but does that count or not count for
Did
you?
you get out of the airport?
No, not out of the airport. So it
No.
doesn't count. I agree with you. So I'm just making sure that we're on the same page here.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I actually thought I should probably count, but then I'm like, I'm going to be embarrassing. There's like 20 or 30. So, um,
There's a fun app you can download. It's called
oh,
Bin.
BEEN.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Um, and that's how I count my countries. So
Oh, that's awesome.
you just like mark it on like a thing.
Okay, that's cool. All right. So what do you have planned? Don't you're going somewhere soon, and then you got to do some quick stopovers?
I I think I'm doing Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan,
Oh, cool.
and one of their neighboring countries in May.
Okay.
That's like my next big trip, and I think we're gonna go for like a month. I don't like going places for just like a week
Yeah.
because by the time you get there, the jet lag. I don't know if you've been watching any of the current PPA Hanoi
Oh,
tournaments.
yeah. You can tell, huh?
All the players look tired,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I had a
I'm
bunch of
not
people be
surprised.
like, I'm like, why don't you go play this tournament? I'm like, you literally don't have time to like adjust to the world in 3 days. Like you need a week before you even like feel a place, you know? Um, so they look tired and yeah. So if I hop on a flight that's longer than 12 hours, I am staying there for at least a month
Oh
usually.
wow, yeah, that's amazing. I travel sometimes for work, so like we been to like Dubai and
Oh, nice.
Saudi Arabia and stuff, but I basically try to get there at least a day early to like because I'm standing up at a trade show the whole time talking to people, and it's kind of like okay,
Yeah.
I got to be, but yeah, I definitely can't quite do a month. But anyway, okay, cool. I love that you travel, and I'm gonna download that app and see how I compare. So, but I definitely am not gonna count if it's less than a month. I'm gonna still count it as long as I get out of the airport. I'll count it. Fair enough.
Yeah,
Okay.
that counts.
Okay. Very
I feel
good.
like it's effort enough to get out of an airport, you know? Requires you to need a visa.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. This is gonna be a really hard question. What is your favorite country? Is that hard to say?
I feel like I get it so often that like I have like my like answers.
Give me your
Um,
answer, and then I'm gonna
my
ask your most surprising.
I'm gonna
Surprisingly
go top
favorite.
top three is India, Namibia, and Colombia.
Okay. Interesting. Tell
Yeah,
tell
and they're all
real.
completely different. India just everything is so stimulating. The people are so nice. I've been 3 times, and like every single time is like better than the last.
Hmm.
It is for sure an interesting like it's very stimulating, like very
Hmm.
stimulating, like the smells, the feels, like people are bumping into you all the time, but like it's just like a place that is not like all the other places in a
Yeah.
way. And I love that. Like I'm like, this is when I want to travel. Like I don't want to go to Canada where I could be in Austin, you know?
Hmm.
Um, and Namibia, just the nature was insane. It's like
Hmm.
desert, southern Africa.
Hmm.
And like it's just like nature that I've like never seen. It's like so deserted, where it's like kind of the opposite of India, like exact opposite spectrum.
Yep.
And then Colombia, just the food, the architecture, the party, everything about it is just like so fun.
Hmm.
So,
So what was the most surprising place? Like you went to a place and you're like, wow, this is surprisingly cool. Any is that a hard question?
um, I would say I'd say maybe like China, where like to the point where I'm like I would move here. Like this
Yeah.
is I don't know, like people always have like kind of like a
Weird.
negative perception of China,
Yeah.
and I mean, like absolutely incredible. Everything about it is just smooth, clean, spotless. People are quiet, people are respectful. Like the nature is insane. Like the architecture again is like
Hmm.
crazy, and everything about it is just like nice, and like the food's cool. Like I don't know, I feel like they're kind of living in the future with like Alipay and WeChat and everything. So it's
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate having you on, and I love that you're out there being an entrepreneur and putting up paddles, especially as okay, again, probably the only woman out there that's doing that. And hopefully you can capture that market that's, like you said, the women like they definitely want a good paddle, but they probably aren't as crazy as us guys out there that are just watching all these reviews and being weird. But no, we wish you the best of luck. I really appreciate you coming on. I really do, and thank you so much, and we appreciate it. Thanks,
of
Camilla.
course. Thank you
Okay.
so much for having
All right.
me.
Yep.
And like, subscribe on Matt's channel.
There you go.
Yeah.